The greatest resource of any country is its human capital, and Sri Lanka is blessed to have immense talented and capable individuals, especially among our youth. The numerous applications and inventions that have been introduced to the market is a testament to the natural abilities of our university students and young people. Unfortunately, much of this vast potential remains untapped as many aspiring entrepreneurs lack the essential knowledge and skills to succeed. As a result, many promising inventions don't come to market, and those who dream of starting to their own business give up on their ambitions. Many opt to go abroad instead. The seminars has been organized to provide these enterprising young people with the know-how to build successful companies and take their innovations to the world. I am confident that our youth possess the abilities to create world-class Sri Lankan companies that can compete with the best businesses in the international market. By becoming successful entrepreneurs, you will not only be able to realize your full potential and contribute to society, you will also be able to play a vital part in Sri Lanka's economic progress by bringing in foreign exchange and providing valuable jobs. Our journey to prosperity depends on the contributions of these talented young inventors, among whom we may well have the next Bill Gates or Jack Ma. We are fortunate to have as our guest speakers today three leading experts in their respective fields who will be able to share their valuable knowledge and experience with us. They are Professor Rangika Halwathura, Professor of the Department of Civil Engineering at the University of Moratuwa, Mr. Harsha Fernando, President's Counsel, and Mr. Danika Pereira, founder Bhasha Lanka Private Limited, and also Mr. Revan Veerasinghe as one of our panelists. I am sure that you will be able to inform and inspire our audience with your insights and perspectives. In addition, our moderator this evening will be Ms. Nishadi Rajapaksha, Assistant Secretary of the OPA. I would like to offer all of you a very warm welcome. We will all undoubtedly have much to learn from our guest experts at this seminar, after which we will go for a Q&A session in order to get a more in-depth understanding of this subject. So let me wish you a very educational and informative evening. Thank you.
The given topic was innovative design, but I add my 2 cents sustainability there. The topic is innovative design, but before moving to the topic, I thought like I should do a small comparison on to understand what has really happened to Sri Lanka. Taking all the political concepts away, if we take the real sort of the real reason behind, I thought I should do a small comparison. I always love to do let's say if I'm fighting with someone, I always love to pick a person who's over and above me. Even if I fail, I know I fought with that particular person. So in keeping that small the point, I thought I should give a try to compare Sri Lanka with 2 big countries. You can see the 2 countries there. I'm going to compare Sri Lanka with India and China. I know it's very difficult to compare Sri Lanka with China. You take the size of the countries, you can't compare. Even the size of India is 3 times China, and you take the Sri Lankan size, it's like the 64 times, or sorry, 150 times. It's obviously Sri Lanka is a tiny dot in the Indian Ocean, so it's very clear you'll not be able to compare the size, the Sri Lankan size with the other 2 big countries. Going to the population, the China leaded, but now the India is leading. The world population is 8.6 something billions now. Out of the 8 billion population in the world, 1.5 each lives in India and China. Whereas the Sri Lankan population in 2022, it was 22 million. I don't know where we stand now because of the migration. Maybe it's going down or increasing. Nobody knows until we get the correct figures. But if you try to compare the population, India and China, it's almost the same. The Indian population is 65 times the Sri Lankan populations. You can't compare. Going to the next topic, that's the patent applications. That is not the number of invention and innovations done by these countries, but giving a try to check whether that's an invention. You check the absolute values, the Chinese value is 1.5 million per year, whereas the Indian value is 61,000 something. So Sri Lankan value is 539. It's very wrong to compare the absolute values because of the size and the population, but if I get the value with respect to the population, you can see China ranks number 1. That's why the China is moving up. Lot of inventions, lot of industries, lot of new industries coming up every day. So China ranks 1, no matter what. Going to India and Sri Lanka, you can see the Chinese value is 26 times the Indian value, whereas the Chinese value compared to the Sri Lankan value, it's 45. So India is twice where we are. We can be a little happy, even though it's a big country, big population, but still we can give a try to do a small fight with India. We can be happy until I show this particular next figure. Is again 2022 data. I don't have the recent data. This has two parameters. One is the residential patent applications and the non-residential patent applications. You compare the three countries. You can see the China and India. 94% of the patent application filed in that particular country, 94% are filed by the domestic or the citizens of that particular country. Whereas the Sri Lankan situation, 70% are foreigners. So that itself you can clearly understand what has happened to the country. We always say we are a very creative nation, the genes are always with the creations, but when it goes to the real numbers, you can see what has really happened to us. The topic is innovative design. So keeping the values in your mind, I'm taking you to 3,200 years back to understand this innovative design. Believe me, this is the oldest burnt clay tile found in Sri Lanka. This was found in Anuradhapura. This is not the Anuradhapura where you and I see. It is 32 feet down from where you and I can see as Anuradhapura today. And in an excavation, they found this particular tile. This is a burnt clay tile, nothing big. So they got the clay, tamped it, and had a small hole at the top, burned it, and used it as a shelter. Understand, I mean, they were there in the caves before they come to the villages. So the caves are very weatherproofed. So from the weatherproofed cave to this house, you definitely have to understand the house made out of this particular clay tile should have been much more weatherproofed than a cave. I don't know, but definitely that should be the way the civilization goes forward. Yeah, it's really nothing. 3,200 years, no big innovation, no big technology. Going to the next the image. That's my. I'm very sure you'll be able to see the screen than the board here. So it's again a roof tile. The history goes back to 1,800 years back, found near Jethavanarama Stupa. You can see the cross section. Actually, that's my the fingers. With the fingers, you'll be able to see the cross section of the tile. It's a burnt clay tile once again, but it's like our calicut the tiles, Rataulu. So it's a pressed tile, and over the pressed tile at the west edge, they have applied, or rather, they have put another coating. Can say a glass coating. And they have burned this particular two materials at a temperature of 850 centigrades. I'm very sure you all have studied science in your O levels, forget the A levels. We know about the coefficient of thermal expansion, so different materials expand in different ways, and with the temperature gradients, They expand in different ways. But still, believe me, this was burned at 850 centigrades. Still, there's no a single crack on the glazing surface. So they have found some mechanism to match the coefficient of thermal expansion. That's one big story. Yesterday it was raining. The day before yesterday it was so hot. Anuradhapura is not like Norelia. It's really hot. Today, with the modern technology, to achieve the thermal comfort in building, what we do? We have the roofing, then we have the insulation layer, then you have the air conditioner. So after that only you are comfortable inside. But these people who lived in this particular blessed country, I can't say this is the best country, but I believe this is a blessed country. But for me, this is the best in the world. That's a different story. But in this particular country, those who have lived here, they found a mechanism to reflect about 90% of the heat at the rooftop level. Even today with the modern technology, we let the heat enter the building, and then we struggle with the heat. These people who lived 8,800 years back, they found this particular technology. They didn't come to Moroto University or any other big universities in the world to study about the science and engineering. They went to the best university in the world, that is the nature, the environment. But today, we have totally ignored the best university, and we are trying to go to the best out of with a small question mark. Right. So I'll show you some of the interesting the cases where you can find innovation. You can compare the history versus the modern technology, where we basically the copying from other countries. You go to any of these places. We'll take one example, the Dambulla Lena, the paintings. More than the painting, I mean, now you can see some of the mold growths on the wall. Even if you just look at this particular the room, you can see some mold growth on walls, because the moisture content, you can't play with the moisture content even with the air conditioner. But this structure, you know, it's dripping all the time. It's 24/7, 365. It's dripping, but still, there's no mold growth on the walls. They have created these structures to create the turbulence inside the structure, where the excess moisture will be taken out, and the walls will be moisture free. If you are to do this particular thing today with the modern technology, you still can do it. You get a wind tunnel and do a physical simulation, the scale down simulation, or else get a high-end computer, do the computer simulation. But these people, without having those the high-end technology, they have done this, and that technology is 100% accurate even for today. Unbelievable. So invention and innovation, can we find something best, something better than this in the modern world technology? Going to food and agriculture, I mean, one could say there have been 100 or 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 odd numbers lived in that particular area. They went to the jungle, they got some, they picked some vegetables from the forest, ate and died. I'm not going to believe it. There could have been millions of people who lived in that particular era, and they definitely have had a happy life than you and I, because they knew one thing which you and I know, but we don't want to believe. That is, they knew that they're going to die one day. We people, even at the ICU, the last minute, last second, we are trying to have one extra second more. I'm not going to say it's bad, it's good. But at the same time, we understand we are a temporary set of the aliens to this particular world, and we one day have to leave. That was known to them. So they give the minimum harm to the nature, they got the maximum productivity, and they had a happier life than you and I. Going to medicine. I'm not going to talk about the Ayurvedic, the Vedakama, which came with King Vijaya. I'll take one simple example from the Hela Vedakama from the history. There's one called Rasa Vedakama. They are, Mercury, Rasadiyar. We are not even allow our kids to touch, right? But you believe me, they took mercury to a stone cup Galkova, and they were working with the material for days and months, and they converted mercury as a drug carrier. You take any capsule, any tablet today, about 99%, is a drug carrier, whereas 0.1% will be the drug. These people who lived in this particular blessed country, I'm again reiterating the point, they converted the mercury as a drinkable drug carrier. We talked about the nanotechnology today and give the blessings to the West, saying they are the people who invented nanotechnology. What is that Rasaveda? When they're working with the material, each time the stone cup touches the stone stick, the material was broken into another level. They never knew about the nanotechnology, that particular terminology, but they knew the science of it. Once again, not learned from University of Moratuwa, the chemical engineering department, but from the nature. But that technology, even today it exists, but unfortunately we get the material from India because we don't have that particular the technology, but we have the Rasaveda in Sri Lanka. So where we can get the innovative design concepts other than from our history. Keeping the whole history out, I'm going to take you to the modern world. You take your mobile phone, I don't think you'll be able to find a single thing which you can't do with your mobile phone now. An engineer, why you need to have hire a chartered engineer? He's there in the phone. Even a lawyer, he's there. A doctor, he's there. Any profession you point, it's there. Very recently, there was an interesting invention by some USA university. So they have an app developed. When you go and use your urinal, the washroom, they will detect from your urine, they will detect 9 diseases and send a message to your phone saying, look, you have this and that. I'm scared to go to that particular washroom, that's a different story. But that is where the technology is. The people have gone to the moon and we are about to step into Mars. Not us, but our next generation or the next generation, they will own 10 Perch in Mars in another, let's say, 50, 100 years time. They will go to Mars and they will own 10 Perch, not from Columbus 7. They will find land from Mars. I'll quickly go through the first, the 3 topics which I was discussing with you from the past. The agriculture, all of us, I'm sure, except few, all are belongs to before 2000 era. We never learned about planting a tree without soil. But today, now it is aquaponic, or the hydroponic, no soil. You add little bit of fish, we call aquaponic. So we don't add the fertilizer now. You add fish, you get the discharge, and that will be converted to, with the bacterial growth, we convert that as the fertilizer. No, even a lotus plant, we got the clay pot, we put the clay, we planted and put to the water. That's our generation, that's our era. But today, it's with 0% soil. This guy, I told you 8 billion population in the world, more the population need to have more food. I'm not going to say it's a bull anymore, it's a meat bull. So you need more food. The scientists have changed the genes. I don't know whether the legally I'm correct to use the changing the genes, but anyway, they have created a bull where it's a meat bull now. Let me show you another interesting image. In my childhood, when I was going to the school, the broiler chicken industry was 48 days. The 48 days from this size of egg to 5 pounds of, or rather 2.5 kilos of a meat ball, the meat bowl, that will take only 48 days. Can you believe today it's only 14 days? That creature can't even think of dying, it will be killed and sent to your plate. I don't know how many days they are going to spend in the refrigerator, that's a different story. But the whole transformation is only 14 days. About the medicine. You take any disease today, the next day you will be able to find the drug. We all thought we will all die with COVID. What was happened? In a month or two, all the countries were fighting to send the drug to Sri Lanka. So it was another business, and we thought we will die, but we all survived. All who are living here. So we survived, we didn't die. You think of a disease today, the next day, as I told you, you will get the drug. And most importantly, a country like Sri Lanka, we are much more fortunate. Sometimes you will get the drug, then they will realize the disease is not there in the country. The next day, the next plane, you will get the disease as well. So you are in a very fortunate country, Sri Lanka. So it's amazing. So there's nothing new to find. That's what I'm telling. So there's nothing new for you to invent or innovate, because it's all done. The technology, the science, all have done everything what you need today and tomorrow as well. Well, I really doubt whether we have anything to invent or innovate. With that small note, let me show you a interesting cross section of the Sri Lankan dwelling, the housing. The top house, I could say it's a very poor house. The middle one can be a poor house. The top one, where we all love to and dream to stay, sophisticated, state of the art, all the sustainable techniques are there. When you go to the door, it will be open, right? So all the sensors and the facilities are there, and that's where we all love to stay. Keeping the three images aside, let me show you another three images. This is the main street before the independence. That means as a country we are very poor before the independence. And the image below is the main street today. I don't know whether we are developed or developing, but still that is what you can see at the main street today. But from there I'm going to the modernist and the sustainable city in the world. That is Hong Kong City. So when you talked about the sustainability, innovation, invention and the technology, we always forget the rest of the stuff. We talked about the Hong Kong City, and that's the modern structure. We never talked about these two structures. I'll ask a single question. We all, I don't know, many, maybe few, we do how many hours we sleep to for a day? 8 hours, 6 hours, 4 hours, 3 hours? Many of the people who lived in this particular, the house below, they have 4 to 5 hours of sleep. Even to have that particular 4 to 5 hours sleep, they need half a tablet of half a sleeping tablet, because they are fully stressed. They go to sleep around 1 a.m., 2 a.m., have to wake up 5 a.m. in the morning, so they should have to have a sleeping tablet for them to have not a proper sleep, but to at least close their eyes. Not only the parents, even the kids now. That's the house who you can see at the bottom. The top two houses, they don't have power. They don't have any sophisticated technology. The snakes are sliding or gliding over the Halwathura, but still they have a very good sleep while all these snakes are gliding here and there, but still they have a happy sleep there. From 8 p.m. to maybe 6, 7 a.m. in the morning. More than 8 hours of sleep. But you people having everything, one day you have to give up everything and leave the world. We can't have 4 to 5 hours of good sleep, whereas having nothing with them, still they have at least 8 hours, more than 8 hours of sleep. If you think about the happiness and the satisfaction, I believe they have a better life than you and I. Having all the jackets and all, but still inside us we are burning. But still they are not happy, because you have set a benchmark saying, look, that is the house you should one day build. So they are not happy because they are dreaming that particular house. But if you go into the real sense and the depth of these people, they are happier than you and I. Even though I said there's nothing new to develop, there are a lot to be developed, because there are a lot of things happening behind us. None of these things are computational much. These are all happening every day. The day before yesterday is so hot, 35 centigrades, and suddenly we got the rain, luckily, but next day we don't know what is going to happen. I don't know whether you will be able to remember COVID, because as Sri Lankans we can't remember things beyond how many weeks? 2 weeks. I thought it's 4 weeks, but it's 2 weeks. I'll show you one interesting image from China. This is actually the Beijing city before the COVID lockdown. I asked whether you can remember the stuff, because I want to remind the COVID again. It's 2020. If you can remember, we got the COVID and we had to lock down the country. That was 2021 in Sri Lanka, but 2020 December 11th, as far as I can remember, they went for the complete shutdown there. But I have time. Finished? Really? So they went for a complete shutdown. So this is before the lockdown, and this is exactly after 14 days of lockdown. You can see the difference. What we innovate and what the nature did. So the same thing happened very recently last year. This is normal Colombo, and this is actually the below image is what was happening in Colombo in last December, because of the some unexpected the cloud came from India. We can say it was done by Indians, but still it's human. Well, this is what we were expecting, but unfortunately, this is what exactly has happened. Every step we put forward, we have destroyed the nature. So that's something alarming, but we have to critically understand what's really happening behind. Let me show you one interesting cartoon from the internet once again. So, having a chat with the sun, that man says, that's who we basically represent, he requests the sun to go to your settings, go to your display, reduce the brightness, it's too hot. Sun replies and say, I'm sorry, I haven't done any changes to my settings. You increase a lot of, increase the trees and a lot of big history. And finally the sun says, finally, it's a huge, could say a real talker. You need to go to your human mode from the auto mode. Like you change your the phone mode, you need to now shift to the human mode from the auto mode. So I was can I have another? Yeah, thanks. Thank you very much. Okay. Well, that's actually that's all what I wanted to show you. I mean, but I was coming here as an inventor, so I should I thought I should show you some of the cases which I have done. Only few. If anybody asks where am I always love to show this particular image. It's not to show that I'm having a bath every day. That's a different story. The reason was this actually all the time. When the whole world is busy with the technology, I always love to be with the nature. It's like little bit of this, but not exactly. This is what I was doing throughout my life. So I got the sense from the nature, put my sense, and finally I created my one or two inventions. So I'll show you some of these the stuff which I'm not a musician. Don't judge me in the wrong way. But this is exactly what I was doing with my inventions. This is actually the first patent which basically changed my whole life, I could say, the Vespucci, and the three the images. If anybody asks what is the best and the comfort you have ever experienced in your life, I could point these wattle and herb structures. The Vespucci, if you look at what he is doing, he get the clay mixed with a lot of water, the saliva, and build a nest for the next generation, not for generations. That is what we do. If you want to learn about the sustainable innovation, you need to study the Vespucci. So I got the inspiration from this guy. I created my first patent. If you look at this particular the bird, he do the same. He get the clay mixed with water, but you can see he other than the clay, he adds some fiber to the material. So he build a stronger wall than the Vespucci. So it's not me really. Actually, it's a big team working together. We managed to develop 8 patents out of the clay material. The success is not really me. Actually, it's a big team working with me. You can say it's not engineers. It's a big team. 1 + 1 is mathematically we know it's 2. But if you add people with different discipline, it can be millions. So that's what I was always love to do with my inventions. The termite nest, we all know that's the best. The comfort, the naturally air conditioning structures, we got the inspiration from there, and we created a hybrid air conditioning system using clay. So that's patented and in the market now. And let me quickly rush some of the examples. About the catapult powder, the mirror wall. So I wanted to replicate. I got the inspiration. I want to replicate this the mirror wall. So I got the alum sludge. The water has no color, but to take the color out, you add a chemical called alum, and that will settle the tiny clay particles, and it's a huge waste all over the world. So we got the alum, and you can see the chemicals we played out, and finally we managed to develop a same what we call the mirror wall, the catapult powder. Now it's available. We got the equation award in 2023 for this particular product. So all these things, and not only this is another thing you all have seen. Can you remember there was an incident, very sort of a political incident in Sigiriya, where they apply some due to some political reasons they applied tar, and there was a foreign expert team who came and removed it out. Actually, we have to give the due respect to these foreign experts who have removed it. But the the respect should go to the people who have drawn this particular the paintings. Over the painting, there was a protective the coating. So many of these inventions are basically started from Attakatha. Believe me, it's the basis from Attakatha. So we read out some of the names are not really known now, but we were working with a lot of archaeologists. And Attakatha says the coating was developed from cashew nut, the resin with Doran oil. So we worked it out, and there's one just recently completed PhD. We managed to reinvent the same coating, protective coating, which was over the Sigiriya painting. So all these things, once again, it's not my own. It's a huge team behind. So I should give the full respect to the entire team. And so quickly I'll go through. I mean, you take this particular building, the carbon dioxide level is really high. To take that particular thing out and also to reduce the indoor air, or to rather increase the indoor air quality, we have developed a hybrid automated air purification system using the plants. Tippili. You may have seen Tippili. So Tippili was the best out of many of the Sri Lankan plants, herbs. And we have developed this, and once again you can see it's a huge team working together. So, if you can remember, there was the coral in my first slide. It was not from the sea, it's from my university. I do some research with respect to coral and coral transplant. And this is not to talk about the corals here. In 2014, in Okinawa, they found the beach is gone. And they decided to plant the corals. In 2024, that's the last year, you can say it's a thick coral jungle. If you do the right thing with the right team, at the right intention, innovative design and the sustainability is really nothing. It's not my parent or grandparents. I met them in 2015 thanks to the UN Vision building the houses for affected communities. This family doesn't have anybody, or rather don't have anybody in this particular world. All were killed due to the war. So I was so lucky to build a house for these people with my inventions. It's me.
බෞද්ධ ඉතිහාසය, බෞද්ධ තොරතුරු, ගමේත් නගරේ, පන්සලේ තොරතුරු, පෙරහැර නරඹන්න, විචිත්‍රවත් ධර්ම දේශනා අහන්න. මේ සියල්ල ගෙනෙන එකම බෞද්ධ YouTube නාලිකාව SL පන්සල. subscribe කරන්න, like කරන්න, comment කරන්න, share කරන්න. SL පන්සල.